vibe inside the mainstream.
Welcome to today's Enlightenment broadcast. My name is Jay Moore, your healthy accountant, and man, I'm excited again. As usual, every day, this is an awesome and incredible day. Just to be coming on, talking to you, saying a word, breathing, and just knowing that we are blessed. We're highly favored to do great things. Yesterday, if you missed yesterday's broadcast, we talked about how you are great. We talked about how greatness is upon you and how greatness is possible in your life. Look, if you missed yesterday, then you want to go back and listen and watch and check out what yesterday's broadcast was all about. So today, I'm continuing with a similar topic that we talk about regularly, and that's change. And so today we're talking about when you change. When you change, when you change. So check this out. I'm going to tell you, change is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing for someone to do. I mean, we talked about change this week, and I posed the question, is change even possible? And I gave some stories of people who did not change, who went through, they saw the most miraculous things, but yet they didn't change. But here's the thing. See, change is possible. And I found something I want to share with you. And in the book, Romans 12:2, this is a great book. In this verse right here, I'm going to read it clear in the version of the clear word. It says, don't pattern your life after the world, but let God transform you from the inside out and give you a new way of thinking. Then you will know what is good and pleasing to him and what is not. This is how you change from the inside. See, a lot of times we are so focused on the external factors of life, the external things, how we're dressed, how much we eat, and, the circumstances that we have to deal. We're focused on those things when we have to first not pattern our life after everything else that we see. Remember, when you look at something, when your eye focuses on something, your external eye or the internal eye, when your eye focuses on something, your whole body will respond. What that means is that at some point, if you're focused on your challenges, if you're focused on your problems, to the point that your problems are basically making it so that they keep coming back, then you're not going to change. But here's the thing: when you do change, when you realize that change is possible by renewing your mind, everything will change. Jim Rohn had that quote. He says, "When you change, everything will change." You got to change in order to change. Like, that's so powerful. You got to change to change. Like, man. But look, my life, I've dedicated my life, and I hope you would do the same, to changing every day. Changing every day from what it is I don't want into the perfection of what God actually has designed for my life. A lot of times, folks, we don't always believe, or we haven't always believed in predestiny. Like, you're predestined for something. But a lot of times say, well, there's no way. How could I be predestined for something? Like, that wouldn't mean that I have choice. But your destiny, your predestination is what God chose for you from the beginning. It's what he says, you know what? I know the plans for you, to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. That was his plan. So you think about it. If he knows the plans, he's going to prosper you. He's going to make sure you have everything you need. Then why wouldn't you want that plan? Why wouldn't you go with the predestined plan? But then we just decide, oh, well, I want to control my own life, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I feel that I should do. Man, I've learned some things. You don't have to take my word for this. I've learned some things. The voice that you hear in your head, the voice that you hear in your head, That's the voice that you have to pay attention to. Now, sometimes it could be the it could be you, the flesh, the flesh part of you that's pushing you to do things because of all that's already there. But then there's a softer voice that's there. It sounds like your voice. It doesn't sound like, Jay, I want you to get up today and do what it is that I want you to do. No, no, no. It doesn't sound like that. It's like, it sounds like you. It's like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, check this out. Hey, I want you to get on and start doing videos on Facebook. I want you to use simple truths and simple principles. You don't have to be so religious about it. And, I want you to do that. I think that's good. That's how I started doing this broadcast. Yeah, I'm talking about myself because, look, at the end of the day, guys, if change is what you and I want because we know that there's something more in our life, then I've got to start listening. I've got to start listening to how I could stop patterning my life after the world, and I can allow God to renew my thinking, give me a brand new set of ideas that I might know what it is that I must do today, tomorrow, every day. See, guys, a lot of times we are looking around, looking for someone else to change. Marriage. Imagine that you're married and your spouse is, maybe your spouse cheated on you. Maybe your spouse cheated on you, and you're just like, man, I just can't take this. But you're like, well, they cheated on me. Is there a way that I could change that could help them? See, a lot of times, if we take responsibility, if you take responsibility, I was reading a book, and in this book, it's a great book. It's called Attract Money Now. It's a spiritual book. And this book, Attract Money Now, the guy talks about a story of a psychiatrist who healed. He was healing people in the psych ward. Like, this psych ward was the worst psych ward in Hawaii. No one else. People quitting all the time. The people that worked there were quitting. The psychiatrists were quitting all the time. And he was just like, okay, he'll take the job. But he said, I'm not going to see any patients. I'm not going to see any patients. It's like, okay, well, you're going to be able to do it? Yes, I'm going to be able to work with patients without seeing them. This is what's powerful. You think a psychiatrist not asking a patient questions, not listening to their ramblings? No, he didn't do that. He sat in his office and he would get the file of every prisoner that they had, because it was a prison ward. He would get the files and he would go over the files, and then he would start telling the person how sorry he was that he had that trait. Whatever the problem was in their life, he found it inside of himself. And then he just kept telling that person he was sorry. And do you know, miraculously, people was getting healed. I'm talking about the people that were quitting, stopped quitting because it was a good place to work. And it got to the point where they wound up closing down. They wound up closing down this psych ward because people got healed. I was like, now how in the world did somebody change? You know what? Somebody that had nothing to do with the situation decided that it was their fault. And they took 100% responsibility for someone else's problem, for someone else's challenge, for someone else's circumstance. And they focused in on it as if it were them. And they found it inside themselves. And then they helped that person to release it from themselves. We are spiritual beings, guys. And people were healed. So imagine you're married, your spouse cheated on you. Find that inside yourself. Look, I'm not going to tell you this is going to be good and it's going to feel cheerful. But when you love your neighbor, when you love your spouse the way you should love your spouse, you would understand that when it comes to doing things that are wrong, that are sinful, look, anybody could be caught up into that. Anybody could be caught up into a circumstance, a situation, because the flesh is weak. Your flesh, my flesh is weak. You know, I pray and I thank God for the renewing of my mind. He has given me a new way of thinking to be able to see. I'm still not there. I'm still working on this renewing because it's every day. It's realizing what he's done for me already and never worrying about anything that's going to come into my life. When you change, your wife's going to change, your husband's going to change. When you change, your siblings will change, and your parents will change, and your church family will change. When you change, your children will change. When you change, your community will change. When you change, your job environment will change. When you change, your health will change. Absolutely. When you change, your friends will change. When you change, I'm talking about everything in your life. Your finances will change when you change. When you change, your business will change. See, when you change and you decide that you will be the change that not just you want, but everyone else wants. So everyone else wants to change, but they said, man, that's hard, Jay. And losing 30 pounds, man, that's almost impossible for me. Man, fixing this marriage, man, I got friends that's getting divorces. Man, they could not see change for themselves. But if they would have decided to change, maybe they gave their husband a chance or their wife a chance to change. But if you don't change, then nothing will change. So when you change, man, I'm talking about it's a full renewal. I mean, the verse says, look, don't pattern your life after what's happening around you. You know, don't do what everybody else is doing. But here's what I want you to do. Let God, he says, let me give you a new way of thinking. Let me go on the inside of you and pull out what you don't know is there, because he put it there already. Let me pull that out for you, and let me give to you the way that I think about things: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. I mean, all of these things are his traits. He will lay down his life. He gave his only son. Imagine you got your son. I got my son upstairs. You know, he's 16, my oldest son. What if I said, hey, Jared, what I need you to do right now is I'm gonna make sure I gotta let you die today. I gotta let you die so that everybody else can live. Is my son gonna say yes? But then I'm gonna say, hey son, but check this out. This is what I want you to do. I'm gonna you're gonna get your life right back. So you're gonna die? You're gonna die? Then we'll give it right back. Really? It's gonna be challenging, son. But I know you can do it. Man, can you get your son to lay down his life? Well, that's what our Father did. Because he said, man, they've sinned, but you know what? It's my fault. He took full responsibility for your sins and said, it's my fault. And because it's my fault, I'm going to rectify the situation. So at the end of the day, guys, what he did is what I'm talking about. He changed. He found it in himself that, you know what? It's because of me. And you know what? Even though he didn't sin, he said it was because of him. And he constantly said he was sorry. I'm sorry, Jay, that you've gone through those challenges, that you've been sinning. I'm sorry that you doing this. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm going to give my life for you. He changed. He did something that is so miraculous that it gave you an opportunity to see what he did and say, you know what? I'm going to pattern my life the way that he's patterned his life. And if I must die, I know that he'll give me back my life. Man, I'm excited today. Here's why. Because when you change, everything will change. And change is possible for you. The other day when I did the broadcast on Is Change Even Possible, I kind of gave you the downside. But today I'm going to lift you up. And I'm going to let you know that change is possible. But here's the thing. Make the commitment, make the decision today that you are going to be the change for everything around you. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me today for this Enlightenment broadcast. I'm Jay, your healthy accountant, helping you account for your life. Look, if you have not liked, subscribed onto our page or our channel, I'm going to ask you to do that. One thing from me. Subscribe, like the page, share this broadcast across your social networks so that someone else who's looking for change can find it, can find an answer, can find a resource, can find some inspiration that will lead ultimately to the change that they want. So I appreciate you. God bless you. Take care.